Everyone talks about wholesaling houses, but we were able to wholesale land and I actually never even saw it, making us $10,000, and that is completely insane. I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on land, and I wanted to tell you guys how we got this deal. But before we start, my name is Stephanie Kabidi. For you guys that don't know who I am, I'm a real estate agent and investor out in Harrisburg, PA. But with that being said, let's get right into it. So how did we even come across this lead? How were we able to get this land and be able to make $10,000? So I want to start off, we actually got a list from Propstream. So if you guys haven't utilized Propstream, it's like an MLS but for real estate investors, and I love it. So definitely check out Propstream. I'll leave the link down below if you guys want to look at that. But we got our list from there. We did do a specific county, and then I think we filtered it as vacant land as well. After that, we got the list and we skip traced it on directskip.com, so it will give us all the phone numbers. And after we did that, then we uploaded it to our dialer, batch dialer. And for this list, Skylar was actually calling. I actually call as well, and then we do have a caller that calls for us, so we're all calling. We make roughly 200 calls a day between me and Skylar both, and then our caller makes roughly over 1,000. I don't know the exact numbers, but she's making over 1,000 calls a day. But for this list, Skylar was cold calling it, and he called the seller, but the seller didn't pick up. And when we had a meeting that night with our mentor, he actually called Skylar back, and Skylar was on the phone with him for, I want to say 30 minutes or so, and we literally got that contract the next day. It was insane. So we never even saw the piece of land. We just knew that it was roughly 6 acres or so after doing some due diligence online, but that was literally it. We figured if we can get this under contract and then renegotiate with the seller later, if the price may be too high, or just see how it is, because we never actually saw it. So we got it under contract for $25,000, 6 acres of land, and it's insane, right? So the seller really just wanted to sell because of his older age, and he had nothing he wanted to do with the land there. So I think it was probably a week later or so, Skylar went out to the appointment, met the seller, and then he showed him where the land exactly was, because sometimes with land it can be hard to really put an address to it, because some land pieces, they just don't have a number in front of the address. So the seller showed him where the land was, Skylar took pictures, and it turns out that half of the land, not half, but like a good chunk of the 6 acres is part of the highway. So really, you can't even build on the whole 6 acres because you own like some of the highway. So the really buildable part is roughly around 1 acre, a little over an acre or so. So that did play a factor, and me and Skylar did even more negotiation with the seller after seeing this and hearing this information, and then we renegotiated from $40,000 all the way to $25,000. So we were negotiating hard, right? And after that, we posted on Facebook Marketplace and got a buyer. And guys, like, I never even saw the piece of land. Skylar went out there once, he didn't go out there again with the buyer. Like, we never even met the buyer, because when closing time happened, I was busy, Skylar was busy at work, and none of us could make it to closing, so we just picked up the check right after. So it's crazy. Like, it did take some time. So like in the process of us having it under contract, then finding that buyer, turns out with the title company, they told us like we have to hold off on closing just because it turns out there's more people on the deed. He had 5 brothers, I believe, in total that all needed to sign off, and they're all throughout the US. So it did take some time to have them all sign off, but thankfully they all signed off. You never know in these types of scenarios, there may be that one sibling that's like, no, I don't want to sign off, I want this and stuff. So thankfully they all signed off, thank God. And I want to say it probably took over 2 months just to get this deal closed. I mean, it's an easy $10,000, from this, and I think people sleep on land. I mean, I know a lot of people sleep on land, and we actually love it. We also look at land to develop on, so if it's a really good deal, like, we're gonna hop on it. We're actually looking at a big acreage amount out in PA right now. I don't want to say like anything specific, but I'm super excited because it's right near, it's in the perfect location. I don't want to say exactly where it's near, but it's in the perfect location where we can do like student housing as well as and or like senior independent living. So many different things like we can do with this, and we're just trying to negotiate, see what we can do with the seller. But we're actually interested in land. Like if we could find a good piece of land, we'll buy the land. Like we'll find the capital partners. We have a lot of connections. So land stuff, doing development stuff, that's something that we're looking more into within 2023 and super excited to do, because houses, they're great. You know, multifamily, doing all that stuff with wholesaling, it's great, but land wholesaling and, you know, just land development in general, not a lot of people are doing that. So it's like super niche down, where if you're getting into it, that's a great place to start, where you can, you know, get a list from Propstream, skip trace Ellis, start cold calling it, and you don't even need to be there. Like I said, I never saw the land. You don't ever need to see the land. You could literally wholesale virtually, where you never need to see it. And say you do get it under contract and you do need pictures, then you can, there's so many different websites out there where someone you can just hire to go out and get the pictures for you and send it to you, right? And then you just post that on Facebook Marketplace or wherever, you know, you post it, or reach out to cash buyers to get that sold. So that's why land is so much better. And with the sellers owning the land, they don't have that emotional connection like they do with houses. So like when we're working with like people that are going through probate, and you know, a family member just passed away, it's like it takes time for them to actually want to sell the house just because of that emotional connection. But when you're talking about land, it's like people are like, oh, yeah, go ahead and take it, you know? But you do want to make sure you're still doing some research. You want to see what the land is zoned. You want to see if the land has been perked. You want to see, you know, if there's water running to the land. Does it have utilities? And so on and so on. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did in any way, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Go subscribe if you're not subscribed. And if you guys want to see me actually analyze a real estate deal, how our company basically does it, make sure you click this video right here.